Corey, you close every video with mastering others is strength. Mastering yourself makes you fearless. When did you come across this quote and did it have a profound impact on you when you first read it?
That's a great question. I'm glad you asked. So, that particular quote, the origination of that, I was watching a movie with Jet Li called Fearless. And it was a quote that came on in the very beginning of the movie. And at that time in my life, when it came out, the place I was at, I was like, I saw that quote. And I saw it said, mastering others is strength. Mastering yourself makes you fearless. And it's true. Because when you if you think from the place of if you knew you couldn't fail, what would you do? Because we're all going to die anyways. So you might as well die going after the things you want because you're still going to die. Whether you go for the things you want or you settle or you play it safe, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you're still on the stern of the Titanic and there's other people that are further up, closer to the bow, that they're going underwater first. But at the end of the day, everybody goes, the Titanic sinks and everybody's on it. And some people got, a shorter time left. Some people got a longer time left. And you might as well find a way to enjoy it and go for the things you want because it ain't going to last. Everything you build, everyone you love, it's all going to turn to dust. Poof. So you might as well find a way to enjoy it. You can spend your life doing the things you want, moving towards the things you want, or avoiding them because you're afraid. But at the end of the day, you're going to lose everything anyways. The game is rigged against you. The Grim Reaper, Father Time, is always undefeated.
So let me see if I can figure out a way to word this, because this is something that came to mind. So in those cases, obviously, we don't know when it's our time. So in terms of being able to might as well do whatever we want to do and what we think is our purpose, how do we overcome societal pressure and societal expectations of that? Oh, this won't work. I don't think you're enough for this. You can't do this. You can't do that.
Well, you're going to get that regardless. And, when you first start out, you're pretty optimistic, enthusiastic. I'm going to make $1 million. I'm going to become rich and successful. I'm going to have an awesome house, great relationship, the coolest cars. I'm going to go on the greatest trips, whatever. But after a few years of that, the enthusiasm wears off, especially when you're spending lots of money and lots of time and you don't yet have the results you want. And people around you are talking shit. Oh, I see, I told you that was a dumb idea. You shouldn't have put all your money into that. Look at you. You've been at this 5 years. All it's done is cost you money. You're wasting your time. What a joke. You need to give that up and be realistic. And if you have, that's why you got to have a compelling reason why you're doing what you're doing. You got to have a burning desire. You have to have your own motivations because the world is going to doubt you. And the reason why people tend to doubt you is because deep down they would like to do what you're doing, but they don't have the balls to do it. And so by hating on you and testing you, and yet you stay strong and ultimately you accomplish it, whether you realize it or not, your success ultimately eventually gives them unconscious permission to go for their own. Because they're like, oh, I knew that guy. Right. But if you give up and you quit, then you validate why it was better for them to play it safe and not take the risk. But if you ultimately succeed, and even if you move on to bigger and better things and you outgrow those people, sometimes they see the example of, hey, well, if that fucking clown can do it, I can fucking do it.
Right. Now all of a sudden they know you. Yeah, I knew that person.
Yeah.
We used to be friends. No, we weren't.
No.
Yeah, a lot of guys when I got out of real estate were talking shit. People that knew me, some of them that worked for me. Oh, he was an idiot. He lost his mind. Who the fuck do you think he is? And then when I succeeded years later, oh, I always knew it'd work out for you. I always knew you'd figure it out. It's like, bullshit. You weren't saying that at the time.
Because they see what's the external aspect of it rather than the internal, how much struggle and obstacles it takes to be able to reach that point.
Well, Oprah had a great quote. She said, everybody wants to ride in your limo, but a true friend will take the bus with you when your limo's in the shop. And it's true. Your true friends stick it out even when you're going through the worst of the worst, the shadow of the valley of death. When it looks hopeless, it feels hopeless, even when you think it's hopeless, but yet you still keep moving forward because you might as well move towards something that's exciting and compelling than just trying to be realistic or or settle, because at the end of the day, you're still going to die. So what are you okay going to your grave having not experienced, having not done? And then you got to learn to live with it. You got to live with your choices. It's like what Steve Jobs used to say every day. He said he would get up and he'd look in the mirror and he would say, well, if today's my last day on earth, would I want to do what I'm about to do today? When the answer was no, too many days in a row, he knew he needed to change something in his life.
Krishna, Allah, God, Yahweh are not a different entity. You helped me so much. I want you to read Bhagavad Gita and understand that huge supreme reality.
Thanks for the super chat. I get what you're saying.
What is he saying?
Well, it's God, Krishna, Allah, whatever you want to call it. There's one energy, there's one force, there's one creator. The second line of the Declaration of Independence spells out that all men are endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights, which means they cannot be separated from you, of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. In other words, you own your life, you own your body, you're entitled to having freedom, and you're entitled to the search for happiness, engaging in pursuits that light you up on the inside. It's guaranteed because it's assumed there is a creator and the creator put you here, and therefore it's your divine right from the creator. It has nothing to do with the state or mankind. It's not granted by the state. It's not granted by man. It comes from the creator. It's assumed to be pre-existing before the Constitution is even written or put together, or the constitutional democratic constitutional republic that we live in was even created. So it's assumed there's a creator, and it's assumed you're endowed with these rights. So it doesn't matter if you believe in Krishna or Yahweh or the Purple Buddha or Jesus Christ or whatever. In America, there's a creator, and you're here at the pleasure of the creator. And therefore, you have rights that come from the creator. And it's the state's job to protect those rights. And that's why you have the right to self-defense and having firearms, arms, which, back in the revolutionary days included cannons and everything else. Pistol, rifle, because if the state that you live in calls you up for militia duty, you're supposed to have everything in regular working order, ammunition that's regular and in common use, rifle rounds that are in common use, other, kit that's in common use. Because if you fall in battle and somebody else is with you, they need to be able to pick up your ammunition, your rifle, your pistol, and be able to use it. Because if it's not in regular working order, then there could be all, thousands of different calibers, and my ammunition ain't going to work in your gun, and guns and vice versa. And so that's what a well-regulated militia is. It's stuff that's in common use, and everybody has it. And so by the time you show up for militia duty, you're supposed to know how to shoot pistol and rifle. If you think about the Ukrainians, they're working in an office one day, and 2 weeks later they're on the front line, and hey, here's a fucking rifle, here's a pistol, here's some grenades. Good luck. They don't get any fucking training. And I understand, how much goes into training to be competent and dangerous, fast, and lethal with a pistol and rifle. And I trained with probably one of the best guys that you can train one-on-one for many years in all the southeastern United States. Some of the, they went and did that shit for a living. And it's hard. And I can only imagine what it's like to have no fucking training and understanding of any of weapons. And 2 weeks later, you're on the fucking front line in Ukraine fighting for your fucking life. So it is the duty, because, as the founding fathers said, who are the militia? The militia are, in fact, the people themselves, and include all men capable of bearing arms. That's everybody's supposed to be capable. If you're capable, physically capable, you better be dangerous, fast, and lethal if you get called up by in the governor. Like us, it's the governor of the state of Florida. He's our president, because I live in the state of Florida, which is its own country. We're just a democratic constitutional republic of 49 other countries. And so that is the minimum level of competency that every citizen is supposed to have. They're supposed to be able to show up and show out in the battlefield, because ain't nobody coming to train you. You got to figure all that shit out yourself. This is the land of self-reliant people. You are responsible for yourself. That's what self-reliance is. You have to rely upon yourself. And so the Constitution it protects all of those rights that are, again, come from the Creator.